What's up, y'all? It's a new year, and if you're a Texas entrepreneur that wants to start an LLC, we're gonna break it down in 5 simple steps. Check it out. What's up, y'all? My name is Saluto Uba, and I'm the founder of the Uba Law Group. We're a law firm that helps companies protect their business, brand, and bank, and today we're gonna talk about how you can start your LLC in 5 simple steps. So before we hop right into the video, I'd ask that you hit that subscribe button and that like button. And if you know anyone that's trying to launch a business this year, please feel free to send them this video. I'd really appreciate it. Okay, now step 1 of starting your own LLC is actually called the prep work. Now the prep work are the different things that you'll have to have figured out and set up before you start your LLC. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about things like your business mailing address. You're gonna need this set up because your LLC documents are going to require it. You're also gonna need to have your registered agent set up because that's gonna be required as well. You're gonna have to do your name availability check and your name check in general. So first of all, you gotta make sure that your name is there to be used. And then on top of that, you need to make sure that there's no other designations in the name or any type of titles that aren't allowed by the state. Now, to go along with that, you're gonna need to understand what your professional status is and whether you're gonna need to include a professional designation on your LLC. And so what I mean is, if you're running a company, if you're running a business that has a professional license attached to it, like for example, I'm an attorney, I run a law firm, and so I run the Uba Law Group P LLC, because that P stands for professional. So if you have a designation like that, the state requires you to set up your business as that professional LLC. So before you start, you gotta figure that out. Otherwise, your LLC is not going to be valid. And then lastly, you need to figure out what type of LLC management structure you want to have, whether it be a member managed LLC or a manager managed LLC. And if you're confused as to what those two things are, check out this video right here. I did a full video breaking that down for you. So all of that might seem a little bit much for the first step, but all these things are going to be required when we're actually filing for our LLC. So this brings us to step 2, which is actually filing for the LLC. So in the state of Texas, you file for the LLC at the Secretary of State's office, and so you go to SOS Direct, and that'll take you to the Texas Secretary of State's office. And so you can either do it online, or if you want to do things with a hard copy, you can print out a hard copy and you can mail it into the Secretary of State's office in Austin. So neither one is necessarily better than the other. The online version, of course, is going to be much faster, but there are some people who also prefer to see the stuff in front of them and be able to write out their information and write everything down, and then have an easier obtained copy of that information for their own records. So both of those are 2 viable options. So the first thing that you're going to see when you're doing the application is what I just broke down. You're gonna first see your business mailing address. So that business mailing address is what's going to be needed after you'd entered in your name for your business. You're gonna have the business mailing address, and then on top of that, you're gonna have to have your registered agent address filled out and your registered agent information set up in the application as well. Just know, you can choose to have your acknowledgement from your registered agent attached to your application, or you can also mark off that the registered agent has it on file in their offices. Either one is acceptable. Now on top of that, when you're registering for your LLC, you're also going to have to name all of the members or all of the managers in the LLC. You're going to have to name them, and then you're also going to have to provide an address associated with each member or manager. And then next, you're going to have to make any supplemental designations regarding your business. Now this is relevant if you're going to do a series LLC or do some other variations on your LLC structure, but the supplemental designation area is where you're going to do all this. And if you're looking at the Form 205 certificate of formation, just know that everything that I'm saying is literally going down the line for the entire form as you go through it. Now lastly, what you need to do is put down the organizer information and the date that you're filing your LLC. And the last thing that you're going to need to do is designate whether or not you want the LLC to be effective immediately, or you can also opt for the LLC to become effective at a later date. There might be specific reasons why you might not want your LLC to start now, but you want to just go ahead and file and get it processed now. So you can make that specific designation and have the timing operate when you want. So that's the full process for filing your certificate of formation at the Secretary of State level. But this is only step 2. Now you might be wondering why that's only step 2 when it seems like we've already sent our paperwork into the Secretary of State's office. But if you've seen any of my content or any of my videos, you know that anybody can get a piece of paper from the Secretary of State, but there's a big difference between a paper LLC and a performing LLC. And so when we set up businesses, we want them to be performing LLCs, and those require a little bit more to make sure that you're protected and that you have a rock solid legal foundation. Now, step 3 is part of that process of creating a performing LLC. Step 3 is where we put in our internal legal documents. These are things like your operating agreement, which is the most important thing that you're gonna have, and other documents that lay out the rules and regulations and protections of your LLC. We wanna make sure that we're very particular in how we draft these because there are additional laws here in Texas that can give you additional protections that you can't get in the majority of other states in the country. So we have to take advantage of some of these business laws that are favorable for LLC owners, and we can't just pull out anything generic and slap it onto our LLC because we're probably gonna be missing out on very strong strategic protections that we can have as business owners. This is why step 3, our internal legal documents, is so important. Next is step 4. Step 4 is creating a game plan for your corporate formalities. Now, your corporate formalities are things that you do on a day in, week in, month in, year in basis that actually show that you're running your company like a legitimate company. This could be everything from having your annual business meeting to making sure that you're not commingling funds, or making sure that your state compliance and franchise tax is on point, making sure that everything is adequately capitalized in your company accounts. All of these things paint a big picture and show that you're treating your business like a legitimate business. Now, even if you're a single member LLC that created an LLC because you thought it was a really simple, easy structure where you don't have to do much, that's not the case. An LLC gives you a lot of flexibility, but there's still requirements, and you still have to show that you're running your company like a legitimate company. And having that game plan for your corporate formalities is how you do that, and it's how you also make sure that you don't get in trouble with the state. Now, the 5th and final step for starting your LLC in Texas is deciding how you want to be taxed. Now, there are a few different considerations to make when you're deciding how you want your LLC to be taxed. So by default, you're going to be considered a disregarded entity, which means that the IRS is going to tax your LLC just the same as if you were just a sole proprietorship. So if your business makes $100,000 in the LLC, they're going to tax you as though you personally made $100,000. But in addition to this, there are other ways that you can be taxed. So for instance, you could be an S corporation, or you could also choose to be taxed as a C corporation. Or if there are multiple owners and members in the business, you're going to need to be taxed as a partnership. And then you can also have a partnership taxed as a C corporation or an S corporation. Or there are all sorts of different designations that you could take over different periods of time throughout the life of your business. What's most likely going to happen is you're going to start out with one tax designation and you're going to have to shift to another one. But it's important for you to understand this at the beginning because you don't want to take the wrong tax designation and end up paying the government more than you're supposed to, or what's even worse, end up owing Uncle Sam money and he's going to come after you. So that's why the tax designation is extremely important, and you got to make sure that you do it right. Now, those are the 5 steps for starting your LLC. Now, I know for some of us, that might feel really complicated and overwhelming, and maybe for others of us, that might feel pretty basic and doable, and you feel like you can take care of that. No matter where you are on the spectrum, it's really important that you take time to do things right. If you've seen my channel, you know that we have tons of videos with resources and education just to help you feel empowered and confident. But if you need a little bit more help and you'd like us to walk your hand through the process, we do this stuff all day for business owners just like you, and we'd be more than happy to take care of you. Make sure that you hit the discovery call link and book a free call on our calendar so we can learn about your business and help you create a game plan to success. Anyway, guys, till next time, keep on grinding, keep on hustling. I believe in y'all, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.